Hi everyone, welcome to Fun Fold Friday. Today we're going to be making a pull tab flap card, and we're going to be using this little guy from Birds of a Feather, this, and this on the inside, and this goes on the inside too, excuse me. So this little birdie is the one thing I have used. I have not used that one either, but I've used the turkey, I've used the pirate, probably use them a little more soon, but I hadn't used this cute little bird yet, so I wanted to use him, and I thought this pull tab flap or flip card, whatever you want to call it, would be perfect. I watched several videos, but the one I followed the closest was Dawn's Stamping Thoughts from April 25th of this year, 2019. Okay. It's a little different because I don't have one thing that all of them were using, and I'll tell you what that is when we get to it. So here's the card we're going to make. Isn't he cute? He's just adorable, and this background paper is the Let It Snow Designer Series paper from the 2019 holiday catalog, and it just pulls like that, opens up. But it's also a card that opens regular. So that's our fun fold for today. So let's make one together. It's pretty easy. There's one little trick to it, but so here I cut all the pieces. Now let me go through those. I'm using an A2 size card base using thick Whisper White. It's a heavier cardstock, so I don't know if it's 100 or 110 pounds. I'm really not sure. Stampin' Up! Doesn't really specify what the card weight is, except that I know their colored cardstocks are 80 pound, so they're nice and thick. Okay, so we need that. We're going to need for the inside a mat that, and this is 5.5 by 4 1/4, so it's actually 8.5 scored at 4 1/4 and folded, so 4 1/4, 5.5. So this one, which will go inside, is 5 1/4 by 4, and then this one is 5 by 3 3/4. So they're for the inside. So we're going to set them aside for a minute, all of them. For the front, we're going to need another mat that's 5 1/4 by 4, and this piece then will be the 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, and then we need some squares. So I'm using my Stitched Shapes, where you can't see them, but they've got circles, ovals, and squares, and we're using the 3 out of the 4 largest. So this is the largest, this is the medium one, or second largest, this is the third largest, and then there's a smaller one. So let me just, in case you don't have those, they're, well, let me measure it this way. They're approximately 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 square on the biggest one, and 2 and 1/8 on the next one, and then this itty bitty little one, which you're going to need 2 of this one, but you need one to be one that you stamp on, that's actually going to go on here. So you need 2 at 2 and 1/8, 1 at 2 and 5/8, and then you need 1 at 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 5/8 square. Okay, and then you're going to need a strip, because that's going to be stamped on and go here. This will be stamped on and go here. Then you need a strip that's 6 inches by 2 inches, and we're going to go ahead and score that first thing. So, and then we'll do our stamping. And it's really, once you get the idea of this, it's really pretty easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring out my itty bitty little scoreboard, and we are going to score this 6 inch on the 6 inch length at 2, which I can't see right now. Hang on, okay, here, 2 and 2 1/2. Which is right here. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. So let me fold them and burnish them. Okay. and then do this one. And this is literally only the second time I've ever made this, so bear with me. The first one was the one you just saw. So that's that. And then if you have a tag topper, you can use either the Delightful tag topper, or I'm going to use the scallop tag topper because I like this ribbon width thing here. And you can see these have exactly, well, exactly 2 inches. All right, it's a little snug, but I'm going to put it in here upside down. And I'm not going to make it go quite all the way to the edge because I want to save as much of that mechanism as I can. And let's just dump that out. Hopefully, there we go. Throw that out, put my punch away, and then we're going to set this aside for a minute because we have to do our stamping now. So let's do our stamping and coloring and things. So we're going to stamp on these 2 squares, and we're also going to stamp on that inside white piece, and then we can put all the stamps away. So first, let me get my Memento Black and the little bird. I have them all in blocks already. Oops, hang on. Okay, move that for a second. And we're going to stamp on the biggest white square that we cut out, the little bird. Isn't he cute? He's just so cute. I love him. And he's going to be the star on the front, the star of the show. And that's that one. And I think that's all I need the memento for. Let me clean my stamp real quick. My stamp chamois needs to be, simple chamois or whatever it's called, simply chamois needs to be cleaned. Okay, on this one we're going to stamp Enjoy the Season, and we're going to use Real Red, which is one of the colors that's in the Let It Snow. This is Coastal Cabana, which I might have forgot to mention, and Real Red. So we're going to stamp that in Real Red. And by the time you're seeing this, I hope you also go watch our independent demonstrator card hop that went this morning, and that's crooked as all get out. I have one more chance. I didn't really want to put it on the back, but we're going to have to. I'll try it. See, that's better, so we'll just go with that. I might have to put a little embellishment or something. Okay, so there's that. And then on the inside we're going to stamp the big sentiment, and again this is 3 3/4 by 5. Wishing you a joyful Christmas from our little flock. And truthfully, our flock is very little. I'm really trying to get it sort of straight. I did pretty good, actually. I did pretty good. Woohoo! And then one more thing, put the red away. Now I'm going to bring out crushed curry. And I'm going to just stamp some stars up at the top. Let me show you what I did on the inside. See, I had stars here and here, and I just thought that added a little something. So we're going to do the same thing. Hopefully we can get them on sort of straight too. Alright, let me go over here, and I just want to make sure. I'm sorry if my head's coming into screen, but I can't see the top of the card. There we go. I'm going to turn it so it's going in the same sort of direction, but down here. There we go. And that is all the stamping. Pretty easy stamping, huh? Okay, so let me set this aside also, and we'll assemble later. Okay, we have to color our little bird. So I'm going to be using Pool Party, Real Red, light and dark for both, and just the dark Mango Melody. And I'll go ahead and use that first. I'm going to use that on this little star. And then we're going to put some Wink of Stella on that to make it shine. And I'm also going to use that for his little beak here. Okay, now we're going to do his little hat. Oops. So what I'm going to do is just go where these little lines are here, close to here, right in here a little bit. And I actually am going to go along the edge here too with the dark one. Okay, and then I'll bring in the light and do the rest of the hat. And I'm using the nib end because this is a sort of small area and I want to try really hard not to go outside the lines too much or at all. We'll see about that. Okay, and then the bluebird, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to use the brush, the nib end, and we're going to do the little tufts up here. We'll do little brows too, and his wings we're going to make them a little bit darker, and his tail feathers, and this wings over here. So cute, little puffball. I could, you know, make him like a bluebird with a white and orange belly, but he's just gonna be a cute little blue bird, pool party bird. I don't have Coastal Cabana. I don't think Stampin' Up! Has it in blends, so that's why we're using Pool Party. It's the closest thing I have to Coastal Cabana, and there is Bermuda Bay, but that's actually dark, pretty dark, so I didn't want to use that, and this looks better with the paper that I chose. So that's why I'm doing that. And I'm using the brush end now for two reasons. My Pool Party I've used a lot for like sky backgrounds and things, and it's getting a little low. So, but the brush end seems to have a lot. And then the other reason is because I have a larger area here to cover. So that's really it. Now, I'm going to bring out my Stampin' Chalk marker, because even though this is white already, I just want to make it a little whiter by going over the part of his cap up here. I thought about another thing you could do is add a little glue there and put some Dazzling Diamonds glitter on or something, but I decided not to do that for this card. There is glitter on the paper itself, but you could do that if you wanted to. And then lastly, the Wing of Stella just on the star here, maybe on his beak. I didn't do it on his beak on the other one, but we'll do it again there. Actually, no, we won't do that because I want it to look more puffy on the cotton. Okay, so now let's glue these down. This one goes on here. I could put a few little stars in there if I wanted to or something, but I'm just going to leave it for now. So we're going to glue that onto the second largest square, the smallest in Whisper White, onto the second largest in Coastal Cabana, and try and get it centered. And then we'll glue him onto here. You definitely want to do your coloring before you adhere your squares and your stamping. Well, in case you need to recut the white if you really goof it like I kind of did. And you don't want to flip it over. And then sometimes I flip them over and give them a good rub on a clean piece of paper though. Make sure there's no glue on it or anything. Okay, now we're sort of ready to assemble. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up. No, we have one more thing to do before we assemble. I'm sorry. Oops. See, I told you it was only the second time I've ever made this. So you're learning with me. I have to bring out a trimmer that has slots like this. So you're going to take just your designer series paper. Okay, so probably you want it to be like a cardstock or a little bit heavier paper. This is paper, but it's not like super thin paper, and you can see it has sparkles on it and stuff, but it is a little bit thinner, and I'm hoping it holds up. So what we want to do is, now here's where mine differs. All the other videos I watched, they were all Stampin' Up! Demonstrators from all different places in the world, and they had something called the Classic Label Punch. Let me show it to you in the catalog because I do not have it. One punch that I haven't gotten yet. It looks like this, and this would be very handy for doing this card, but I don't have it. So, and what they did is they centered it in the middle. So as best I can, I'm going to do that too. So what I'm going to do is cut about a 1/4 inch wide strip out of the center, sort of the center. So let's see, this is 3 3/4. So I think I figured, oh gosh, I didn't write it down. 3 3/4 was 4 would be 2, so it's going to be, I think I did 2, I started at 2 3/4 and then I did over to 2. That's what I did. So that's what we're going to do. And then coming down from the top, you're going to come down to, let's see, 1 3/8. 1 and 1 2 3, right about there. Oops. Hold your paper steady, push it in and go down to 3 5/8. So we're going to go down to 3 and 1 2 3 4 5, and that's that. And then move it over to this way, just a 1/4 inch. Bring it down to what I say, 1 3/8. So 1 1 2 3. There's markings on this ruler. Push it in, come down to 3 and 1 2 3 4 5, and I just go back up, and that's that. And then I got it a little thinner than I wanted actually, but then you take your scissors or whatever, or you could do it on the cutter, and you see you have a little strip here. Oops, wrong scissors. You just cut that out. So I just come in, snip. I think I only got 1/8 of an inch. I meant to get a 1/4, so I'm not sure. That might be too thin. I may have to cut it a little wider, guys, because you want about a 1/4 inch here. Your tag is going to go through there, and it may work. I'm going to do it just a little bit wider. Sorry. I don't know what I thought I did, a 1/4 inch. Ooh, wrong cutter. Yikes. See, you cannot use that kind of a cutter for this. I almost did a big boo-boo, huh? Okay, so let me put this back in at 2. And go up here to 1 and 1 2 3/8. And down to, yeah, see, I had it 3 1 2 3 4 5/8. There we go. Okay, now I got it. I must not have had it right at the 2 the last time. Did you guys, you were here screaming in the background, Deb, you're not at the right mark. Now we have about a 1/4 inch. Okay, and I'm just going to snip them off, and I'm actually going to toss those little strips because they're too little. Okay, so now you see we have like a switch plate, right? And it's not real pretty, but it's not going to show. Okay, now let's take our Enjoy the Season, and we're going to glue this centered on here like this, just on the top, not over that score part. And the stitching, I find, really kind of helps on the back. So pretty much you're going to line it up with where the stitches are on either end, but I'm going to just glue it here on this part, so I make sure I don't go over. And I'm using my favorite, you know, fine tip glue that I have in a fine tip bottle here. You can use mono, it would work fine. I don't recommend snail for this because you want it to hold for a long time. All right, so let's see if we can do this. I did it better this way, I think, last time. Lay this flat, but you only want to go to this first fold mark Try and center it right up to that fold and push down, and then just rub it on the back. I got it a little off center actually, but it's not terrible. Okay, it's fine. Okay, and then we're gonna put tear and tape along here. This is a Stampin' Up! Product as well, and we're gonna put that on here, and that's all you really need. I'm gonna burnish that tear and tape real good, make sure it's down, and I'm gonna pull up the tape piece. Now this piece you want to bring over to this edge here, but you want to make sure that it's going to cover this other one, okay? So we're going to bring it over to here before I push it down hard. Let me make sure. I have a little crooked. Okay. There we go. And it covers the other one. And that's it. So there you have your mechanism. All right. Then you take the front of your paper and you take your tag and you stick it through like this. Now we put tear and tape just on the edge of the little piece here, not the, there's a little bit hanging over that had the stitching on. We don't want it on there. We want it on the back part that we put that onto. So let me do that. There we go. Let me burnish that too and pull that off. And this is what makes the mechanism work, really. Otherwise it'd just be slip sliding around, right? So now you want your tag topper thing to be out a little bit, but you want your birdie or your design, whatever you choose, to be somewhat centered on the card there. And then you push it down. And there you have it. So that makes your mechanism work, right? Now, flip this over. This is the back, and I didn't have it centered in there, but it'll work. Now we need dimensionals. And I don't want to use minis. You could use foam tape, whatever you have. You don't want it near this, anywhere near this. So I'm going to put pretty many on now. Okay, so all my dimensionals are on, leaving this area open. Okay, I'd have to pick these little things off. Now, if you use colored cardstock, you could make this be white or black or whatever your design calls for, but it's just the size of the mat, you know. And now we're going to try and put this on here evenly. And you could use your stitched rectangle dies as well. So there we have that put onto the card mat, and it opens like that. And we'll put a little ribbon in here maybe. And then we put it on our card front. Let me get these out of the way because they're gonna... So I'm just gonna use my glue like I always do. There we go. All right. 1 second, please. Okay, so now we just have to assemble the inside. We already stamped it, so we're going to glue this down onto our Coastal Cabana card mat. And again, and push it down, just burnish it or rub it, and then glue that in here, and then our card is done. That's easy, huh? My cards will not be super complicated probably, because I mean there might be a time when I get to that point, but I'm just learning all the techniques of these more simple fun folds, and so I want to share them with you as I learn them. And that's what Fun Fold Friday is all about. I'm learning. Hopefully you're learning with me. There we go. Now let's see. I have ribbon. I could either use the white with the silver. That might be pretty. Or the white polka dot, but that's not open. Or I don't have any Costa Cabana, or this flax ribbon. I thought I had one of them open. Hang on, guys. And you know what? I will do that later. Oh, or real red. How about real red? I'm thinking the real red, actually. Decisions, because that kind of brings out the red in that. So let's just put some real red on here. I actually have this one in a little further than the other one. And for sake of time, I'm just gonna staple this after I snip it off. Put in my little mini stapler, and we'll staple it onto the card here. I might cut that down a little bit. Okay. Look, I even have like a blue-green stapler. So there we go. Isn't that cute? So that's one, and then this is the first one, and I'm going to do the same thing on that. I don't know, I maybe would have liked the red, the white ribbon better, but that's okay. And I don't need it quite so long as I did on the other one. Sometimes what I use is mini glue dots, and I just put them in between the ribbon, and that holds it on too. Oops. There we go. Okay, done. Thank you so much for joining me for Fun Fold Friday. I have a mess to clean up now, and I will see you next time. If you're interested in any of the products, please check out my web store at my link below. It should be like CRAFTY.COTTAGE.StampinUp.net. That'll take you to my web store, and just hit shop now, and yeah, you can shop there, and I would definitely appreciate it. And if your order's under $150, which most are, you know, let's face it, then please do use the host code for Nick's Crafty Corner. She's having a Stampin' Up! Party with me until the end of the month of September 30th, 2019. So if you could use that host code, and if it's beyond that time when you're watching this and you'd like to buy something, you can still shop with me. Just use whatever the host code is that's down below a current video, and or at the top right hand side of my blog. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.